Hey guys, Taria from urbansketchingworld.com here with you today. And today I want to talk to you about my weapons of choice. And by weapons, I mean brushes. And by brushes of choice, I mean the ones that are essential to me, the ones that I just cannot live without. Sounds dramatic? Okay, yeah, maybe a little bit. So my first serious watercolor brushes were just purchases from my local art store. I didn't know what I needed. I hadn't done any research. I just went in there and I just picked one seemingly medium-sized round brush and one seemingly medium-sized flat brush. As it turns out, this actually wasn't a bad accidental choice, to be honest, and I used these brushes for a good year or so before I started trying out some other things, such as the water brushes that carry the water in the handle. I was just seeing so many urban sketchers use them, I thought, why not give that a go? So they certainly seem like really practical brushes, but they were fine to use for sort of quick sketches or just kind of sketches on the go, that kind of thing. But for consistent, regular watercolor sketching use and to, when I was in the midst of trying to improve my skills, I just wasn't finding that these were the right brushes for me. It wasn't until I was actually going on my first solo backpacking trip that I realized I want to be sketching as much as possible. I kind of thought maybe I should really try and invest in some really decent brushes. So then I started to look around, started to do a bit of research, and to be honest, I can't quite remember why I settled on the Escoda Reserva set that I bought. I must have read something or someone that I was following at the time used them, something like that. But I was dead set on those are the brushes for me. Those are the ones I want. And I think around the time that I'd made that final definite decision in my head, because, they're not cheap brushes. Jackson Art was having a massive sale on things like Escoda brushes or travel brushes or something like that. So I took it as a sign and I got those brushes. So now that I feel I've been using the same brushes quite consistently over the last couple of years, I feel I'm ready to publicly announce which are my essential brushes that I just can't cope without. So tell me in the comments, guys, which are your favorite brushes? Which are your essentials that you just couldn't cope without? I'd be really interested to know what your choices would be. Just before we get on to which are my essential brushes, I just want to very quickly mention that in March 2022, I will be running a 9-day workshop in Morocco. I'm so excited. There's already a few people booked, so if you're interested in coming and having some sketchy adventures with me in Morocco, then check out the description below. I've got the links for the full itinerary, the dates and the price, that kind of thing. And if you want to talk to me more about it, then just drop me an email, taria@urbansketchingworld.com, and we can have a chit chat about it. So now onto my 3 essential watercolor brushes for urban sketching. Okay, so as discussed, I've got these 3 Escoda Reserva brushes, a number 2, a number 6 and a number 10. So these brushes are made of natural hair. So as such, they kind of absorb water, they carry more water and paint within the bristles. So they're nice and kind of lush to use, that kind of thing. And I'll be honest with you here, guys, I only ever use the number 10. I never use the number 2 or the number 6. So I really could actually just get by with just the number 10 brush. So the reason that I found this out and that it became clear to me that I don't really even need the other 2 sizes is when I started packing for my trip to South Sudan, and I could only carry the most essential pieces of equipment with me. I had to pack extremely lightly. When it came down to it, the number 2 and the number 6, they just didn't make the cut. I just don't use them enough to warrant taking up the minimal space that I had. So actually, if you guys are interested in seeing some of the footage from that South Sudan trip and some of my sketches, then you can check out that video up here. I try and do a majority of my sketch with the number 10 brush. Before then, I move on to my next brush. And I'll just say here, and we'll cover this in a future video that I have planned for you guys, but the size of the paper that you're using is a factor in what size of brushes are going to be good for you. So I generally tend to sketch on an A5 sketchbook, and I find the number 10 is big enough to cover the large surface or the surface area available on an A5 sketchbook is just perfect for me. So moving on to my next essential brush is the Rosemary & Co. 1/4 inch travel dagger brush, and if any of you have watched a few of my videos before, then you know that I love this brush. Like, this is my ultimate brush. Once I've finished doing as much as I can with the number 10 brush, this comes in and I can get all those finer details because of that nice point, but it still can cover a reasonable amount of surface area too. It's just such a versatile brush. And this brush is a mixture, so it's a blend. So it's got, I think, a 50-50 ratio of sable, natural hairs, and nylon hairs. So you've got the sable hair to give you that absorption of water, so the brush can carry a nice amount of water, but then you've got the nylon material, which helps with the durability of the brush. And finally, to be honest, I could probably do without this brush, but it is really nice to have, and that is a flat brush. And the flat brush I'm talking about is actually one of those very first brushes that I bought in 2013 at my local art store. So that just shows you, I mean, it was an uninformed decision, but it's worked out well because I still use that brush today. To be honest, I don't know the brand of it. It's a synthetic brush, but it's just perfect for creating straight lines, especially if maybe you're doing like a sky meeting the sea, or you want to paint right up to the straight edge of a wall or a building. A flat brush is just absolutely perfect for that. So I really highly recommend having one of these shaped brushes in your kit. So the Escoda and the Rosemary & Co. brushes are both travel brushes, and that means that they come apart in the middle. You can flip over the bristle end and insert it into the handle. It is just so handy for traveling. You just don't have to worry at all about your brushes getting damaged. So I think for me personally, this is an absolutely perfect configuration, and I'd probably consider in future only buying brushes with this travel brush configuration, especially for travel sketching and urban sketching. Okay, and before we go, just one bonus brush. If I had to choose a fourth brush, it would actually be one of these water brushes. So they are actually just so handy. You know, if you're just in the corner of a pub or you're on a plane or something, you just want to add a splash of watercolor to your sketch. You're mainly doing like an ink sketch or something, but you just want to add in a bit of color. These water brushes are just so invaluable. They're light, they don't take up any space, so I would highly recommend just having one in your bag just for those moments. But just a word on water brushes, and this is my opinion here, but I would say please get one like this, the Pentel Aqua brush, or one that looks like this. There's a bunch of other brands that make them that look like this, like Derwent and various other brands. Do not buy one like this. This is the Caran d'Ache water brush, and the design of it is inexplicable to me. You have to pull out this end to suck up the water. So if you want to walk around with a full water brush, it's now this long. So it just doesn't seem that convenient to me. So that's my opinion. There's probably some of you out there who are like, no, the Caran d'Ache water brushes are amazing. But for me, they're just not that practical. So that's my 2 cents on the issue. Okay, guys, that is all I've got for you today. Look out for that future video on selecting watercolor brushes for urban sketching. That's coming soon. And also, again, just let me know in the comments what your essential favorite brushes are for urban sketching or travel sketching. I would love to know more. And I will see you in the next video.